but we're all looking at a Facebook feed of our favorite podcaster who's got a big following and that commentary. But it's just like, just think a little bit more critically about why. Ask yourself why.
When we talked about the Colosseum and stuff, it's the whole idea of when the king is doing something dodgy in the back end, they want to confuse the majority.
Yes.
And that was the whole idea. And hence, when the majority is confused with not just Tilly, but everybody's bogged on with a large debt on their hand, they're focusing only on how they can put food on the table. They might not think on the problems what the king has.
Yes, that's right.
So that was the whole theater of that, keep everybody confused and busy with sports.
Look over here.
With
Don't
sports,
look over here.
yes.
Yeah.
And then that's why, if you would see, the case in point is Victoria is the sports capital of the country, and that's why Victoria State has the largest debt. So I think there's some correlation between the king spending so much money versus how much people are confused with something else. And
it's scary because we're seeing, if we just look throughout our history, and that's why reading texts from the past is so good, 1984 and Brave New World, and just trying to take a moment to be like, wait a minute, when I go to the shops now and self-serve, so I do my own, a job that used to exist and was paid. Now I don't get paid to do it, I serve myself. And now I can't even actually exit out of the section because there's doors that are closed. And sometimes you'll go up to them, even though you've paid, and they won't open. And we all go, wait a minute, how did we get here? How did we begin operating with the idea that everyone is a criminal now? Not the idea of before, it's like, okay, there's a certain amount of shrinkage that's occurring, but you've rolled out into every store now that I literally can't leave. And then you say, but it's a free country. It's like, well, these are the markers that are starting to show up because you're like, where does this lead? It doesn't lead towards, will we ever go back to having just open or will we go further? It's like, well, now there's cameras on you. But it's always done under the guise of your safety, right?
Yes.
We're here to protect you. We've increased, COVID was a perfect time to increase legislation.
You're right.
When the rise of terrorism, the idea of creating fear narrative in individuals, and then you can then overreach through legislation. Because how many people are looking to see what's getting passed through government?
Yes.
Not many.
Not many.
But we're all looking at a Facebook feed of our favorite podcaster who's got a big following and that commentary. But it's just like, just think a little bit more critically about why. Ask yourself why. Why is this happening? Who is making this happen? Who benefits from that? Because at the moment, Woolworths and Coles and things, they're benefiting from that because now it's harder to steal a single thing. But you've also got a question, wait a minute. So we went from never being filmed to being surveilled.
All the time.
And we're paying for it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And do you think, how did we end up into that headspace of being accepting to be surveilled? What has happened on the way? And we never said, no, don't do that. We never said, stop.
Exactly what happened to you, right? Stop wearing that tie. How dare you bring the most innocuous element in that workplace? Is that what our workplace is about, ties and who wears them? No, it didn't matter, but it did because it's that element of, no, you don't be an individual here. You're not an individual. And yet, when you think of all these jobs that everyone has had, people treat them like, no, I can't leave my job. If you were to pass away, they would replace you like that. But we treat it like, oh my God, I can't speak up. I'll lose my job. The fear narrative. It's so powerful. If people have read Machiavelli's The Prince, I don't know, fear. Better to be feared because you can control people through fear. You can't control them through love.
No.
And I challenged that because I said, actually, maybe you can. Actually, maybe the metrics of our society need to shift. We need to move somewhat away from the idea of objective success is completely monetarily based and come towards some kind of thing of like, what does it mean? People ask me what I do all the time. But what do you do, Alexander? What do you do? And I always try to say, things that matter to me. That's what I do. I don't have a job. I've been on stage emceeing or hosting an event, and people come up to me at the event asking me what I do. It's like, what you just saw is what but this can't be your full-time job. It's like, it's not a full-time job. It's a career. Like, I live creatively. I do creative things with creative people. And I'm trying to role model that for younger artists. And even yourself, how wonderful that you've said, like, yes, I am that guy. I did all that stuff. I have the background. I can be creative too. I can platform people. I can discuss things. Why not? Who said all of our jobs had to be these prisons? And it's not to say people don't enjoy their work, because there's lots of people that enjoy what they do. Absolutely. But there seems to be, at least anecdotally, I'm sure you've met a lot of people who don't say they dislike, they say they hate their job.
Yeah.
And how awful to go through your whole life and be like, wow, I really hated that job. Good thing I spent 50 years there. And now I'll retire.